Hello and welcome to Papercrafting Playdate. This is episode 20. Can you believe that? I am Robin Armbrecht and this is Really Robin Stamps. And I'm so happy that you are joining me today. We're going to do some fun stuff with paper. Today is June 4th, 2021. And I have a kind of a journey through some gatefold cards to take you on today. And it was completely inspired by my husband, Tim, who made me this amazing anniversary card last week. And so I can't wait to share that with you. So let's turn you so you can see my table. Maybe. There we go. All right, let me find you so I can see your comments. Wonderful. And there we go. All right. Good afternoon, Miss Wanda. How are you doing today? All right, so before I get started on my gatefold cards today, I have to share with you some super fun cards that I have gotten in the mail. As I said, it was our anniversary last week, and we've been married for 30 years. So that was kind of a big deal. And so we had a proper celebration, and I got a couple cards in the mail from some of my stamping friends. And so I want to share them with you. So this one is from my friend Judy Cully. Isn't that cute? I told her this is going to have to maybe be a card template of the month or paper crafting playdate kind of template idea, because I think it's so beautiful. This is the Painted Poppies stamp set in the True Love Designer Series paper, and she used our beautiful Rose Rococo color. I just think that's gorgeous. Hello, Pat. Hi, Lisa. How's everybody doing today? And then this card was from my friend Jill, and she used one of the paper pumpkin kits. This is actually a kit that came out around December, so it was kind of had elements that would make this really pretty like Christmas flower bundle, but look how awesome it is for an anniversary card. It's got the gold in there. It's just gorgeous. I love this card. Hi, Rebecca. Welcome. And then, and now this isn't stamped, but this is from one of my friends, Julie, and it is homemade because she and her husband like to take pictures and then make their own cards. And so they took this pretty sunset somewhere and turned that into a beautiful card. And then, let's see, I got this one from one of my demonstrator friends, Sandy, and it is so stunning. We love the black and white, right? Pops of yellow, amazing. I believe this is Pineapple Punch, that really bright in color from a couple of years ago. And look how she just made her own little black and white design on the back. I love that. So beautiful. Thank you, Sandy. And then my friend Sue, she made, this is called a, ooh, I'm going to get it wrong. I think it's called like a 3D box card. And this will have to be a, this will have to be its own little tutorial, I think. I've never made one of these, but they're so cute. So they lay flat, so you can mail it in an envelope, but then when the person gets them, they pop up. Pat, I think you've made some of these, haven't you? I think I've seen some of the ones you've made. They're so adorable. So thank you so much for these cards in the mail. I appreciate it so much. All right, so let me show you the card that was the inspiration for today's tutorial. This is the card that Tim made me for our anniversary last week, and it just made me so excited because I of course love him so dearly, and then when I see him be creative and like speak my love language through, you know, the paper and the ink and stuff like that, when he makes cards for me, it's just, it means so much. So I'm going to tell you that he doesn't ask me for any help when he comes into my stamp room. He just kind of looks around, sees what he can find, and I'm always amazed at what he, you know, pulls out and finds. And so he found these little letters and numbers not too long ago. So he knows how to use the Big Shot, loves the punches. Anyway, so we've always kind of had a pink and blue theme in our wedding. We got married in '91. And so like country blue and mauve were the colors at that time. And so we've kind of always had this kind of pink and blue thing. So he did the pink and blue. Look how he did the opposite. And he made this cute little gatefold card. And so after he gave it to me, he was like, I was oohing and awing over how amazing it was. He said, well, I wanted these circles to connect in the middle. And I was like, oh, we can do that. That's what an interlocking, you know, gatefold card is. So this was my inspiration for today. So I know some people who watch my videos are new to stamping. So I just really quickly wanted to review one quick thing as we like go into what a gatefold card is. Hello, Carol. Thank you so much for joining me today. So when you've got a full sheet of cardstock, you can cut it in half this way or this way. So this would kind of be across the width or the length. Well, I'm going to get that wrong. Cutting it in half this way and this way. We always used to just call that like a hot dog and hamburger, right? So when you cut it in half this way, you get two cards that are this size that just make your basic card, right? If you cut it in half this way, you get what I like to call a panel card that opens that way, right? Or you can open it this way. So either one of these can be a vertical card or a horizontal card, you know, depending on what you're putting on the front and what you want your message to be. All right, so that's just your basic fold, just basic card fold. So you hear the terms like fun fold and fancy fold, right? And all that means is it's something other than this. It's taking and making an added element or a mechanism or something, and it makes it more fun because it's not just your basic fold. So one of those would be the gatefold card. And instead of opening on the side or one of the sides, whatever, it's going to open in the middle. All right, so you just have to score it a little bit differently to get it to open in the middle, and that makes the gate, right? So this is still pretty simple. So let's just dive in. I'm going to just make a basic gatefold first. And we have to play with this beautiful paper. I haven't gotten this out for a couple days. I got really distracted by that Expressions in ink paper that is just so gorgeous. And so I've been playing not fairly with all my papers. I've been using the Expressions in ink over and over again. All right, so let me get my pieces out and I'll show you how to make just a basic gatefold card. All right, so we're going to take our half sheet of paper and I'm going to use the Misty Moonlight. So for a normal card, just your basic card, you would fold it in half. But to get the gate, you have to fold it in, or I'm sorry, score it so that you can make those gate folds. So for a card that goes this way, you're going to score it at 2 1/8 inch, like that. Now, you could go ahead and score this one at 2 1/8 as well, and you could hope that they would meet in the middle, and they might, but I've just found that a lot of times, for whatever reason, just little tiny adjustments in how you're scoring and how you're reading the measuring function on your paper cutter, it doesn't always meet in the middle, right? And with the gatefold, you really want it to meet. So the easiest way is to just score one side at 2 1/8, and then you fold the other side over and bump it right up against that cut, and then use your bone folder or your finger, and then you've got it meeting right in the middle perfectly. Now, the thing with gatefold cards is that they don't like to stay closed unless you get those score lines really folded very well. So you can actually, you know, turn them and fold them in both directions. So you've got a really nice crease where you scored it. So that'll just kind of make those doors work really well. So a lot of times when you see a gatefold card, you will see a belly band slipped around it to kind of hold it together, or you will see some kind of focal point on there that will keep it, you know, kind of steady. So that's what we're going to do. So I cut out a piece of this gorgeous hand-penned paper, and I just made it 4 inches by 5 1/4, so it would kind of matte. We would have this nice blue matte look in the back of the card. And I'm just going to cut this in half at 2 inches. And then we're going to adhere that to our gatefolds, our doors. And this time when I adhere this paper, I'm going to go all the way up to the edge of the door, because I want to kind of have it, make it look like it's not going to open in the middle. I just want to create the illusion that it's going to be a regular card, and it'll be kind of a surprise. So instead of centering, like I'm going to do later on my gatefold cards that I'm going to show you, instead of centering this designer series paper in this panel here and this panel here, I'm just going to push it to the edge so it looks like one continual piece. And then we're going to add this focal point so that it'll help keep the gatefold closed. All right, so when you do that, you're only going to want to put glue on half. And so I just like to flip my die or whatever I'm going to attach upside down. And then I can put glue, I kind of figure out where I want it, put the glue on that half, and then flip it over and put it where I want it. So now you've got that. All right, so let's put the inside. So if you want to do an inside, that's just 4 inches by 5 1/4, and then you get a nice little border that's the same exact size as if you're putting an insert into a regular basic fold. All right, so we got to stamp this focal point. I already cut this piece out, and it's just so pretty. It's just so pretty. So let's do some stamping. Now I picked out the colors Mint, Macaron, Blushing Bride, and So Saffron, because those are the colors that are in the designer series paper. So let me get those pads ready. I want these colors to look really kind of light and watercolory like the designer series paper. So what I'm going to do is stamp them all off once before I stamp them onto this stamped image here. But instead of wasting that stamp, I'm just going to put the full strength ones inside. So I'm going to stamp the So Saffron first once in there, and then I'll stamp it again without re-inking onto my flower, and then I've got this really pretty light flower. All right, so there's the yellow. We're done with that. So now we'll do a pink flower. I'm gonna, again, just gonna stamp it on the inside. This is Blushing Bride. And then we'll do our leaves. Let's take the big leaf. This is Mint Macaron, so let's put one here. And then we'll put one there. And then we'll put one here. You see how this works? So I'm getting the lighter image here and then the darker one. Let's do that one. And there's a smaller leaf. So I just got a nice watercolored lighter look with that. All right, so let's close those up. So I'm going to use the little congratulations that comes in this hand-penned petals stamp set. And I'm going to stamp that in black on the front. And then we'll pop this guy up, and that's our gatefold. All right, so again, we're just making the basic. This isn't an interlocking gatefold. This is just the basic one. And I just felt like we needed to start at the beginning. and talk about just kind of the basic. Oh, I know what I was going to do. Before I was going to stamp that. This fun little stamp, I'm going to show you on the stamp set right here, makes like little flower buds, and it'll go onto this image here. But I thought it would also make a really fun background. And so I'm going to stamp it kind of just like behind where this little image would be on the front. So that when I stick that down there, just kind of have a little bit of a background on there. All right, so that is a basic gatefold. All right, I feel like I should ask, are there any questions? All right, so let's put an embellishment on here. Just because that one flower right there is just screaming, please put an embellishment on me. So we'll take one of these opal rounds and put that right there. All right, so that is the basic gatefold. Let me show you the first time I did this, and I added also the Wink of Stella on there. Hopefully you'll be able to see that shimmer a little bit on there, maybe. Just makes it so breathtaking. All right, so that's the basic one. And again, you can turn this and you can make your gatefold open this way, right? Or you can cut your cardstock the long way as a panel or a hot dog, however you would think of cutting your cardstock, and you can have a gatefold open this way. All right, and I put this one on the other side. It doesn't matter. You can attach that focal point either side. All right, so there's our basic gatefold. All right, so now we're going to talk about interlocking gatefolds. So as the name suggests, there's going to be something that creates a little mechanism on the front. So really all that is creating just an extra flap or a focal point that kind of has movement or interaction to it. So I thought it would be fun to bring in this designer series paper called Pansy Petals, because it's beautiful. And let's get the paper here. So there are a lot of dimensions, right, when you're making something that has a lot of pieces like this. So I just want to assure you that all of this will be in a PDF on my blog that you can access with step-by-step directions. So don't feel like you have to remember these measurements. So this is called a interlocking flap fold. I'm just kind of adding the word flap to that title. If you search online for interlocking gatefold cards, you're going to come up with a lot of different versions. These are not the only versions that there are. So just keep in mind that they all have kind of a different little mechanism on them for how they, how they interlock is what I'm trying to say. All right, so the base of our card is going to be soft succulent. And I already scored that at 2 1/8, just like I did for the first card. And so we've got our gatefold there. So let's decorate the front of that. And where's my adhesive here? We're going to add designer series paper on the front. So this time I'm putting the designer series paper. Let's see, how did this one go? Just want to see if these match at all. They don't. Okay, so I'm going to put the designer series paper centered into this panel right here. So I'm going to leave an edge to see the base of the card. Oh, I got crazy with my glue. Okay. And then we'll put this one on this side. So what this means is this piece that is going into the panels here, this designer series paper is 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. okay? But you really have complete control over how much of the card base that you want showing. So if you want less of this edge, then you just make your designer series paper a little bit bigger and maybe do it 2 inches by 4, no, 2, trust me, it'll be all written down. You would do it 2 inches by 5 3/8, and then it would give you a much smaller margin. All right, so here's the mechanism on these. You're gonna add flaps and you're gonna attach them like this, all right? So that's where we're going. So these pieces are 2 by 4 1/4, and then these are 1 3/4 by 4. So let's just get our pattern paper on here. This is a good way to use all of your pattern paper. And then you get to see a lot of the designs all at one time. All right, so these are going to create flaps that go on the front, like that. So again, when I'm thinking about, I'm going to attach these now, I'm going to flip this one upside down so I can see where it's going to go, so I can kind of see where I need to put that adhesive. And I'm going to just put that adhesive like that and then flip it around. I do like the liquid glue, but only because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room, so I can kind of reposition some things once I get them nailed on the front. All right, so that one's gonna go there, like that. Probably would have moved that one up a little bit more, but it doesn't matter. You'll get the idea. All right, so here's how that opens then, like this. Isn't that fun? All right, so we're gonna put the pansies on here. Now, I had to make the really tough decision, and I did not get the stamp set and the dies that go with the pansies. I just, you know, I can't buy it all. But this paper is so gorgeous. You really, you know, it does a good job all by itself. And so I just cut out some of these pansies. Now, if you get the dies, there's two size, well, there's lots of dies, but there's dies that actually cut out all of these flowers, so you wouldn't have to cut it out by hand. But I went ahead and cut them out by hand, and we're gonna just arrange those on the front with our little greeting. But before I did that, I wanted to just show you something else you could do with these flowers. So I'm gonna take the, take your pick tool, and I'm going to use oh gosh, I'm totally blanking. Whatever the size of this, whatever, somebody help me. What is this one called? It's just a score tool, right? Score tool. I'm going to take that and insert that on the other end. So I've got kind of the bigger side of the score tool. You can take your flowers, and I'm going to just use my piercing mat. I'm going to do it upside down like this, and I'm just going to go around the outside. I'm not pressing too hard, I'm just pressing kind of steady. And so that's going to just kind of pop that flower up and give it a little more dimension. And then on this side, I'm just gonna go around where the little flower is in the other direction. So it doesn't do a whole lot, but it gives it just a little bit of character and dimension. So just going around the outside on the back, and then I'm going to turn it around and just kind of go along these little petals on the front, just to kind of give it a little bit of dimension. Okay, so let's add these to the front. I already stamped the greeting, so we're gonna put that on one of these cute little flaps. And then we'll put our little purple pansy, kind of covering that up, and then we'll put these two down there. So this is what I like to call a interlocking flap card. Oh, you guys, interlocking flap gatefold card. I mean, it's basically just an interlocking gatefold card, but I had to like kind of distinguish it between the other kinds that we're gonna do also today. So I think all we need left is the inside, which I already stamped and put on that piece that's 4 by 5 1/4. I think this card is really fun because of how these cross, it just feels a little more interactive than your normal card, right? So it's really fun to do that. Like that. Oh, you know what this card needs? I have yet to use one of these cute little bumblebees. Let's put one of these bees on there. We'll put that little bee right there. There. All right, so that is the flat version. Let me show you some other examples. So here is the same paper, but I flipped it over and used the other side, and then I did it this way so you could see that you can also make a panel fold with the score at 2 3/4, and then just make those flaps a little bit longer, right? So same thing, you just turn it and then you make larger flaps. And then I had to get out this beautiful dragonfly garden stamp set and the paper, which reminds me, make sure that you are checking the mini catalog. This catalog is going to be all done at the end of this month, June 30th, I believe. So a lot of things are on sale right now. There are some things that are stamp sets that have already, you know, they're already transferred into the annual catalog, new annual catalog, but the paper, any paper that's in that mini catalog is not going to transfer. So for example, this dragonfly paper is not going into the big catalog, even though that stamp set is. So look at this one on the inside. Very fun. Same pattern as this. And you can decide, so I told you, so this one has a larger margin around it, and this one has a smaller. So this one I just made the designer series paper. I cut it a little bit wider so that you could see, yeah, I cut the designer series paper wider so that you could see less of the card base. And then I also attached these flaps not quite all the way to the edge. So you've really got a lot of different choices. It really totally depends on your paper that you're using and what you want, you know, what kind of look you want to achieve. Here's another one, the first one I made with the pansies. And then this was my latest one. So these pieces right here, these can be any size too. You can make these as wide or as narrow as you want. And it just depends on what you're putting on them. So this one is a Father's Day card, like that. All right, so that's our flap. All right, so let's get a little crazy now. And let's do another version of an interlocking gatefold that is called, also called a buckle, interlocking buckle, or sometimes it's just called, this is the thing that drives me nuts. Everybody calls their stuff a little bit something different. So I think that's why I like to show you a bunch of different ones, because it just makes it a little bit easier in my mind to kind of sort through what am I seeing when I'm looking at these things online. All right, so I'm going to do this the same way as we've been doing for our gatefolds. I scored it at 2 1/8, and then I'm going to fold it over. And for this card base, I'm using the thick basic white cardstock. And then we're going to take this edge and just bend that to meet And then we've got our other fold. So for this one, I wanted it to be super bright, and so I pulled out my new favorite pack of paper, which is this Hostess pack called Pattern Party. And I think I showed you this maybe last week. One side of all these delightful papers are black and white, and then the other side are all these bright, beautiful, easy to use patterns. You can earn this as a hostess, so that is something to look forward to if you want to be a hostess. All right, so I made these on this particular card. The designer series paper are 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. So let's glue those on. See, you have to choose. There's the pretty black and white on the other side. Okay, so there's our panels. So this one's going to make like a buckle, and in order to do that you have to use your layering dies. So you can take any dies, squares, circles, triangles, rectangles, stars, ovals, whatever you have that nest like this. And that's how you're going to create this focal point piece. So we've kind of done a little bit of something like this before, where we've created a frame on the front of a card where we've used nested labels. So this isn't completely brand new. So let me show you how you do this. The key to the success on this, because it is a feature on the card that people are going to open and close and open and close, is to double up your pieces. So you're going to need 2 pieces for the inside circle and then 2 pieces for the frame. Okay, so let's do this one first. This is going to be with the smaller of the 2 circles. Whoops, that's not working. Let me do it this way. Okay, so now I've got 2 circles. And so now we'll make the frame. You bring back in that small circle, and then you put another circle, a larger one, and you just put them together there, kind of evenly spaced. Okay, so now we've got a frame and we've got the inside. And what we have to do is glue them together. And basically we're just doubling it up so that it's reinforced. So we'll do this one first. So this inside circle, you don't need that, you just need the frames. When you cut 2 of these at the same time with regular cardstock, it doesn't happen so much with white because it's a little bit thinner. You might get a little edge on your from your framelit in there. That does not bother me at all, but if it does, you can put the one that was on top on the bottom when you glue them together, and it's not as noticeable. All right, so attach those together. Again, you can use any nesting dies for this because this is going to fit right back inside. So what we're going to do is we're going to attach the frame to one side and then the inside to the other side, and they'll kind of come together and actually make kind of like a buckle. So you can eyeball this if you want to. Let me just... Or you can use a pencil. So I'm just going to mark kind of where the half halfway mark is on that, and then that'll help me decide where to put that glue. So then I just line up where I put those pencil marks. Glue's on this side. All right, so then you're gonna put, because you just want this guy to stick under here, right? So you can use this as a guide. So you put the glue in the exact right spot and just put your glue right there. And then you just poke this right back in to the circle. And then lift the frame up like that. So now you've got this little buckle here that interlocks together. So this is kind of what I think Tim was wanting to make when he was making my card. So let's decorate this. I'm going to bring in The Biggest Wish, and we're going to use the word happy and birthday. And we're going to use 2 of the colors in this paper, Pool Party and Misty Moonlight. So let's do happy first. Keep forgetting, I want to stamp this before you put it on your card. That's probably a really good idea. So let's do happy, like that. And then we'll do happy again in the blue. So happy, happy on the front. And then on the inside, we'll put birthday, birthday. So leave me a comment if you have made one of these gatefold cards before, if you have tried that, if you have found that to be kind of a go-to card template for yourself, or if you need to try one. To finish decorating this card really quickly, I'm going to bring in my 2 favorite flowers and this Flowers and Leaves punch. And we're going to just stamp those flowers on some Pool Party. That. And then we'll punch them out. These flowers, I think you're going to see them on a lot of cards for me. I just think they're so cute. They're fun to color. They're just quick and easy. Dimensionals. Okay. Pat says she's always used the belly band, which is so cool, right? I love belly bands. They're fun because then it's like somebody has to do a little something to get to the message on the inside. All right, so let's close this up. This one's very satisfying to close. And then we'll put this little flower over here. We'll put this guy over here. So you'll have to be, you just have to be aware of where you can put embellishments on the front and where you can't based on the movement of those inside pieces. And then I found these fun embellishments that kind of bring out the yellow. So let's put a little bit of yellow, a little pop of yellow in there. Okay, there's card number 3. We've got one more. But let me show you the other designs I did here. So here is, I loved this paper so much, I flipped it around. And I used the same circles, the smaller circle, and then instead of using the bigger circle, I used the scallop, and I left a really wide frame on that one. So you've got lots of choices there for what you want to do for your frames. So there's that one. And then this is using the stitched rectangle framelits done the same way. And then I just decided to make the gatefold in a horizontal way instead of vertical. So very simple, just with bright colored paper. Got some fast, easy cards that anybody would love, right? All right, these are all using that awesome Biggest Wish stamp set. I think it's one of my top 5 for sure. And having a lot of fun with that. So I do recommend that stamp set. Okay, so we've done the flap interlocking gatefold, and now we've done the buckle. So the last one that we're going to do is just also called an interlocking gatefold card, but this one uses 12 by 12 paper, and I'm just calling it a triple interlocking because it kind of has a little bit of different feature with the flaps. So you want to start with a piece of designer series paper that is 5.5 by 12. If you don't want to use designer series paper, you could also use cardstock, and that works perfectly fine as well. So how you do this is that you're going to score it. At 2, at 4, and then at 8 and 10. Okay, so basically 2 inches all the way across, but not in the middle at 6 inches. So 2, 4, 8, 10. Judy, I showed your card today. I showed everybody your amazing anniversary card, or you'll have to watch the playback. Thank you so much. I love this card. All right, so you've got your paper scored. I'm going to have this be the inside and this be the outside because I'm going to make a popsicle card. So you basically want to score on these lines like this, and then you're going to fold that back. So you fold that in, and then you fold that back. All right, so now we've got a gatefold that kind of pulls, right? So what we're going to do is we're also going to put flaps on this card. Just going to make this nice and crisp there. Let's go ahead and put this on the inside. This is going to be the inside that'll help orient us to what the card is going to look like. So this is basically your same size as a regular card, except it's slightly narrower because of it being 12 by 12. It's a 4-inch card instead of a 4 1/4 inch, wide, but this is still the same. This is 5.5. All right, so what you need to finish this is you need a piece that is 4 by 5.5. That's going to cover the whole front of same size as the card size. It's going to go on the front, and then you need a piece that is 3 3/4 by 5, and this is going to get cut into the panels. So let me show you how this works. So what I like to do, and somebody who's good at math, there's probably a better way to figure out exactly how to divide 5 inches into 3 equal pieces. That is something I can't do. So what works best for me is to just measure 1 3/4. Okay, so you're going to cut that. And then I'm going to flip this around and cut 1 3/4 again and flip it back. And basically that leaves me with 1 1/2 in the middle. So they look just about the same when you put them on your card front. All right, so this one's 1 3/4. This one is 1 3/4. This is 1 1/2 wide. So now we're going to attach them onto this piece here. And I'm just going to make sure that that 1 1/2 inch strip stays in the middle. Let's do this one. I could have Pat said, please ask, well, she didn't say please. I am married to an engineer. Have him write all the measurements. I could. I should have him figure it out, but I have a feeling it's going to be a dimension that I can't figure out anyway, even if he tells me what it is. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's probably better to do this in centimeters probably than it is in inches. All right, so this is what you get when you divide those. It just works out so perfectly. And then all you do is you cut in between. So you don't need to measure this. You just need to make sure your blade is right in between and chop those, and then make sure your cut line's going to go right down the middle of those two, and you cut that. All right, so that's how you get those. And if these are off a little bit, like that one's a little bit off, it really doesn't matter because you'll see in a minute. All right, so they're going to go on the card like this. Please would be nice. Please, yes, I should always use please. So what you're going to do, two of them are going to slide this way. One's going to slide the other way. So it doesn't matter. Just pick two and pick a side. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to go ahead and do this side. So I'm just going to put adhesive. Again, flipping it upside down so I can kind of see how much adhesive I need. And then we just adhere that right even with the top of the card. It's only going to be adhered right here. So that means this one gets adhered over here. Hello, Karen. How are you doing today? And then this one is going to go on this side. Isn't this fun? This is the card that you should make first. If you've made a gatefold before, definitely try the other ones, but this is the one you need to go home and find a nice big juicy piece of designer series paper. So now when you open it, let me show you a top version as well. This is how it opens, like that, and that just slides back and forth. So look how you can see all those beautiful sides of the designer series paper. All right, so I already made the popsicles. It's gonna be hot this weekend, so I'm thinking popsicles are a good idea. And we're gonna get out our happy birthday. So the stamp set that I'm using for this one is the sweet ice cream. And so let's make our happy birthday on here. And then we need a little splatter to pull in that petal pink, just because we can, like that. So I'm going to put the greeting on the middle, on this middle flap. So there's probably a better name for this one, but you can see how these are all called interlocking gatefold cards, but they're all a little bit different. So like I added the word triple flap to this one. And now let's add our popsicles. So we'll do that guy there, that guy there. What am I forgetting? Oh, we just need something on the inside. So let's do Hope It's Sweet. Happy birthday. Hope it's sweet. There. So that is our triple flap. All right, let me show you some others. Here's another one with the same stamp set with the ice cream cones. So much fun. So you can have things kind of overlapping. You just have to kind of be, you have to think about where you want that, because the person will have to slide that back in, right? Like that. But it sure looks cool, because it looks like it's just a regular card, and then it just unfolds in such a really fun way. All right, so those are with that set. And then I played with the Expressions in Ink designer series paper, and I made a couple. This one is made with cardstock, so you can see that works as well. I chose to not put designer series paper here, but now I kind of regret it, because I wish there was more designer series paper, but this one on cardstock is fun because then you could make different, you could use different pieces of cardstock for that inside, and you would see a bunch of different versions. And then here's one with that bigger flower and that beautiful, beautiful pale papaya color. And then I had to bring in these snails because I was thinking, oh, they'll look like they're kind of moving, right? Isn't that cute? Look, he's bringing the mail. He says, hi. He's bringing in the letter. You've got mail. I'm going to miss this snail set when it's gone. I'll tell you that. Don't forget this paper, this stamp set, it's all going to be gone at the end of June. All right. Wow, we did a lot of stuff. We did a lot of stuff. Let me bring in the 4 that we made so we can quickly review. So we did a regular gatefold, just a plain old gatefold card, which is lovely. Nothing plain about it. And then we did a flap, kind of like a hinge flap gatefold, like that. And then we did a buckle gatefold. And then we did a triple flap slide. I don't know. There's got to be a better name than just calling this one the same, right? So there you go. We've got 4 amazing little gatefold cards. I hope you enjoyed this gatefold journey with me. I will have directions for each different version available this afternoon on the blog with the PDF and the directions and all that good stuff, and all those card samples will be on there. I appreciate you watching so very much. I hope that you have a great weekend and a great rest of your day. Thank you.